3 years ago, I was $10,000 in debt. Not just broke, but anxious, ashamed, and one flat tire away from a total breakdown. No savings, no plan, just stress. Before we dive in, let me ask you something. Are you tired of feeling like you're drowning in bills? Like every dollar you make is already gone before it hits your account? If that's you, hit that subscribe button right now. Because this channel is all about real stories, real struggles, and the exact strategies that can pull you out of the financial hole, step by step. Now let's dive in. Today, I'm living a completely different life. Debt-free, investing, confident, and I did it without winning the lottery, without help from rich parents, and without a finance degree. It was a rainy Tuesday. I remember because I sat in my car outside the utility company's office for 20 minutes, just staring at the shut-off notice. I owed $218. My account had $43 in it. I was late on rent, behind on my credit card, and juggling payday loans that were eating away at what little paycheck I had left. Every phone notification gave me anxiety. What hurt the most wasn't the money, it was the shame. The feeling that I should have figured life out by now, that I was failing at something everyone else seemed to be managing. I avoided calls from friends, said no to family events because I couldn't afford gas. And the worst part? I was working 2 jobs and still sinking. That night, something snapped. I couldn't keep living like this. I pulled out a notebook, wiped my tears, and wrote at the top of the page, "I'm going to figure this out." That was the beginning. The first real step toward a future I couldn't yet see. I didn't know where to begin, so I started with what I had, a pen, a notebook, and Google. I searched how to make a budget and kept it painfully simple. No fancy spreadsheets or apps, just 2 columns, money in and money out. That night, I listed every single dollar I made, and every place it disappeared to: rent, food, transportation, subscriptions I didn't even use anymore. What shocked me the most wasn't how little I earned. It was how mindless I'd been with my spending. I cut Netflix, canceled Spotify, sold my gaming console, and used the money to pay off a small loan. I meal prepped for the week instead of eating out. I created what I called my zero plan. Every dollar I made had a job. If I had $1,000, I assigned every bit of it. $400 for rent, $200 for groceries, $150 for debt, $100 for savings. Nothing floated around without purpose. For the first time, I wasn't surviving, I was taking control. That single change, building a real, honest budget, didn't just improve my money. It rewired how I thought about value, priorities, and freedom. I started to track progress, celebrate small wins, pay down debts, and every month I got a little more confident. At first, progress was slow. Danielle still made minimum payments on her debt. She clipped coupons, walked instead of taking Ubers, and tracked every dollar. There were nights she cried over a spreadsheet, wondering if this was even worth it. But something inside her had changed, a quiet, determined fire. She started hustling more intentionally. First, she sold her used electronics on Facebook Marketplace. Then, she turned her knack for writing into freelancing gigs. By the end of month 3, she'd brought in an extra $600. That small win gave her momentum. Danielle created a strict budget that focused on 2 things: survival and debt payoff. No more unnecessary spending. No eating out. No new clothes. Just the basics, and every leftover dollar went straight to her credit cards. By the end of the first year, she had paid off $7,000 of her debt. But the real turning point came in year 2. When she took a risk, she launched a digital product. It was a simple budgeting planner she designed for herself, polished in Canva, and uploaded to Etsy for $9.99. No one bought it for the first few days. Then someone did. Just one sale. $9.99. Danielle jumped up from her couch like she had won the lottery. Then came another sale. Then 5 more. Then a glowing review. Before she knew it, she was making $300 a month from that one product. And she didn't stop there. She created more planners, a debt tracker, a financial goal sheet, even a digital journal. Suddenly, her income from Etsy began to match her freelance gigs. Danielle was building something she had never had before: options. She poured that income into her debt and emergency fund. By the time year 2 ended, she was completely debt-free for the first time in her adult life. And even better, she had $5,000 in savings. Year 3 started with something Danielle hadn't felt in a long time: peace. The daily stress of debt was gone. She could sleep through the night without jolting awake over late fees or overdraft emails. But she wasn't done, not by a long shot. Now, she wanted to build wealth, not just escape debt. She studied financial literacy like her life depended on it. Danielle read books, listened to podcasts during her walks, and followed investors on YouTube. The more she learned, the more empowered she felt. She opened her first Roth IRA and contributed the max she could afford. She automated her savings, and she made a bold move. She created her own website to sell her digital financial tools directly, cutting out Etsy's fees. That one shift tripled her income. She reinvested every dollar into growing her tiny brand. Better designs, email marketing, a free lead magnet that exploded her subscriber list. Within 9 months, Danielle had saved her first $25,000. It was more money than she'd ever had in her life, and she'd earned every dollar herself through focus, consistency, and a refusal to quit. Looking back, Danielle no longer saw the $10,000 of debt as a curse. It had been a wake-up call, a painful but necessary breaking point that forced her to build something better, something sustainable, something free. Now, every time someone buys one of her digital products, she thinks about the version of herself that once cried over $42 in her bank account and smiles. 3 years after hitting rock bottom, Danielle walked into the same cafe where she used to pinch pennies for black coffee. But this time, she wasn't there to borrow Wi-Fi or look for a side hustle. She was there to meet with a potential investor, someone who wanted to help her turn her budgeting tools into a full-scale mobile app. As she waited, she glanced at her phone. Her bank account showed $87,422.09. Her business had just passed 6 figures in total sales, and her inbox was full of thank you emails from people, strangers from around the world, saying things like, "You helped me finally understand money. I just paid off my first credit card because of your workbook. You saved my marriage." Danielle realized something powerful. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about impact, helping others do what she once thought was impossible, become financially free no matter where they started. So what was the lesson that changed everything? It wasn't some secret hack. It wasn't a perfect budget or a lucky break. It was this: the small decisions you make every day matter more than the big ones you make once in a while. That truth turned a mountain of debt into a stepping stone. It turned Danielle, once overwhelmed and ashamed, into a thriving, mission-driven entrepreneur. If Danielle's story inspired you, don't scroll away just yet. Leave a comment. What small change are you committing to today? Like this video if you believe anyone, yes, even you, can change their money story. Subscribe to the channel for more real stories that prove financial freedom isn't a fantasy, it's a choice. And remember, you don't have to be rich to start. You just have to start to become rich.